Now, on April 28th, in a senseless act of cruelty, one of our own, Officer April Pikes, was stabbed repeatedly while working an extra security job at the Maryland Walmart. I'm happy to report that following excellent medical treatment, Officer Pikes has made an amazing comeback and has returned to active duty with HCCPD. There are many in the community who came to her aid as first responders. Without these men and women, she may not have made it back to work with us. I'd like Chief Greg Cunningham to introduce these exceptional people so that we can acknowledge their efforts in helping save the life of Officer Pikes. Chief.
Thank you, Chancellor. Members of boards of trustees, presidents, administration, and honored guests. I'm very proud to be here today, to personally have an opportunity to thank these people and to present them to you. The first responders who were providing care to Officer Pikes. What I'd like to do is call Officer Pikes to the front. If she could join the Board of Trustees and the Chancellor up front, I would really appreciate that. Trustees, could I get you guys to come around front so that we have some photo opportunities here? Thank you. Just kind of right out in front would be great. So as the Chancellor said, Officer Pikes is back, fully recovered on full duty. So when we go back to April 28th, what I'd like to do is I'd like to recognize the rest of the people that were on the scene that night. On that day, 20 people jumped in to help save Officer Pikes' life. It included 7 Houston Police Department police officers, 12 Houston firefighters, and 1 very, very good Samaritan. What I'd like to do is start. That's civilian. Mr. Baker, could I get you to come up front, please? That's civilian A. Baker. For those of you who may not know the story, Mr. Baker was leaving that store. At the time he heard the commotion, he stopped, turned around, went back into that store, and came to the defense of Officer Pikes, knocking down the assailant, helping get him disarmed, and holding him. Mr. Baker, by anybody's definition, you are a hero, sir. If I could ask the Houston police officers to please come forward at this time. These Houston police officers were first on the scene, responding to what seemed to be a fairly normal call, an unfortunate but normal call. When they arrived, they recognized what it was that was going on, and they recognized the police officer was involved, and they began to take charge. Officers' names are Officer Brittany Cisneros, Officer Nathan Moore, Officer Patrick Morrissey, Officer Cedric Anderson, Officer Jeffrey Chapman, Sergeant Matthew Ham, and Officer Craig Matthews, forgive me. Ladies and gentlemen, they did what they were supposed to do, but then they went above and beyond that. This was a matter of securing a crime scene. It was a matter of going to April Pikes' aid and taking clear and decisive measures that, without a doubt, helped preserve and save her life long enough so that our next group of people could come to the scene and do what they do best. We're doing picture logistics, I think, here. We knew the greatest challenge today was going to be the logistics. What I'd like to do now is ask our friends from the Houston Fire Department to please come forward, and let's recognize them as well. So the Houston Fire Department has supported this city for years and years, and quite candidly, we love these guys. They show up at short notice, and they're always ready to get the job done. What I'd like to do is introduce these firefighters who are also at the scene and contributing to trying to keep this thing with the outcome that we have. And it's Tony Southall, EMT. John, are you moving folks forward? Oh, okay, sorry. Samuel Morgan, firefighter. Clark Hamilton, paramedic. Chief Kenneth Carey, district chief. Captain Joseph Schwager, EMT. Yeah. Sandy Riley, firefighter. Stephen Robson, firefighter and EMT. James Tapner, EMT. Daniel Burmy, paramedic. Chris Pluggy, firefighter. Robert Messenger, firefighter and paramedic. We'd also like to mention a name of HFD's EMS Physician Director and Public Health Authority, Dr. David Percy, who was unable to be with us tonight. Chief Armagara is going to accept that award on his behalf. If you guys don't mind, I'm going to go off script just a smidgen here. These were the guys that were there that night. There are several hundred more people to thank. The absolutely crack staff at Ben Taub who received her from these firefighters and are responsible here. The Houston Police Department Homicide Division, who I'm absolutely convinced every single person assigned was out that night working this case and making this happen. The Harris County DA's office, who's carrying this forward through the courts. It hasn't been through the courts yet, but it's heading in that direction. The men and women of the Houston Community College Police Department who stepped up. And there are, thank you. And there are several other groups, police officers, women's associations, church-based groups that have all come forward and supported April during her recovery. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate it. And I'm going to let the board go back to work and ask all of you guys to come on outside so we can take one giant group shot if you don't mind. Thank you all so much, every one of you. Okay. We do all right? Awesome. Thanks for Yeah, get everybody outside. Yeah. Hey, Lieutenant Brooks. Yeah. Thank you.